Okay, so good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all to be here in this very important session today. That's on the Windows event log analysis. And we have studied and talked on the various important areas, particularly in the Windows forensics. And they are very much useful. And I hope that you all have practiced from the sample data or you have created your own data to analyze the artifacts that you can use to find out the relevant information about the victim computer or the source computer. So in this series today, we will be talking a little bit more into the Windows event log analysis. So what is well, like Windows event and when the event logs are generated? So all these things we need to discuss today. Okay. So let us start with the definition of the event log. So what is the event log? So Windows event log analysis involves examining the logs generated by the Windows operating system to monitor, diagnose, and troubleshoot various systems and security events. Okay, so your Windows operating system is so cleverly designed that anything which is happening into your system is creating an event. Okay, so what's the definition of an event? Any activity onto the system is creating an event, or I would say triggering and log to save into the event. Okay, it's like if I'm logging into the system, it is creating an event. If I have tried to log on into the system, but unfortunately I have typed the wrong password, it's also an event. If somebody trying to connect me over the VPN, it's an event. If somebody is trying to connect me over RDP, with successful login is an event and without successful login is also an event, and there is a difference between the two event IDs. Okay, so it's important when you are analyzing a system. So event log analysis is so important thing that you can understand that how the system has behaved to a particular situation. Let us suppose we are analyzing a system, and during the analysis of a system we found that a particular set of event ID, which is correlated with the failed login attempt onto the RDP. So what is exactly mean? It is exactly mean is that somebody is trying to connect to my system without my consent. Maybe it is a malicious actor, maybe it's a bot, maybe it's some Trojan or something, any type of malware. But analyzing these type of events will help us a lot to find the real cause of the malicious infection or any threat actor which is trying to intrude into my system. Okay, so these logs can provide valuable insights into the performance, security, and functionality of the system. So type of event log. So this is very important to understand because when you go into the Windows event viewer, there are a lot of events. So you need to understand that what are the different type of events log available. So application logs are there, system logs are there, security logs are there, setup logs and forwarded logs. Okay, so forwarded events are sometimes not configured. You need to configure. So we will talk in the later stage. So what is the application log? So whenever there is an application running or application stopped or it contain an event log by an application, so it is covering into the application log. Let us suppose your Microsoft Word is working and due to certain issue, it has been crashed. Okay, so that crash event is being entered into the application log. And what is a system log? Contains event log by Windows system components. This log is essential for identifying system level issues. So it is identifying that what are the different system level issues that are being generated. Let us suppose there is a hardware failure or there is a software failure, or I would say there is a network failure. So all of these things that are creating and impacting on the system is basically the part of the system log. Then we have a security log. So what is security log? And this is very important. Like most of the forensic examiners are using and working on this particular type of security log. So what it is, it contains security related event like logon attempts, resource access, and other security related activities. This log is crucial for identifying potential security breaches. So as I've given you example before, that somebody is trying to take a RDP session with a wrong password. So it is creating a security log. Okay, so if your LAN adapter has stopped working due to some malfunctionality of the motherboard, it is creating a system log. Okay, in case your word is properly closed and it is crashed in between, it is a application log. And what is a setup log? Contains events related to application setup and installation. So whenever you are installing something, you are like deploying something, some new task you are deploying, it is putting into the setup log. So all has a separate use, and when you are working and trying to identify a particular log, you need to understand that in which particular event log section you need to find your event. So let us take some example. These are the common event IDs and their meanings. Okay. So what are these common IDs? Like event ID 4624. So if somebody has successfully logged on into the system, it is giving an event ID 4624. And the event ID 4624 is into the security log, because security log is taking care of your login attempts. Okay. Then we have event ID 4625. It is an account failed to log on. Event ID 6005. A event log service was started. Okay. So whenever you are starting the event log service itself, it is creating a log. And when you are stopping the service, it is also creating a log 6006. So in 4625, if somebody is failed to log on due to some wrong password, it is also creating a user. So whenever a new user is created, 4720. So see, this is very important thing. When somebody entered into your system, okay, let us say that by event ID 4624, somebody has logged in into your system, and he has gained some unauthorized access. Now he has created a user with admin rights. Okay, because if he always used to log with your administrative username, then he might be caught. So to maintain the privilege escalation, to maintain the persistence, what he is going to do, he is going to create a user. So whenever a user is created, the event log 4720 is logged. So as a forensic expert, you need to understand that how many 4720 logs are being created into the system. Okay, so until unless you do not know how many 4720 are created, and because 4720 is always correlated with 4722, account is created, but until unless it is not enabled, he is not able to log in into the system. So 4720 is always correlated with the 4722. So you have to check the timeline between the 4720 and 4722. And there is a separate log, separate event ID when he logged off for the first time. Okay, so a separate event ID is there when he has logged for the first time. Okay, so this is a task for you. So find out the particular event ID. So when a particular person logged on the first time with a new user, which event ID is created. So this is a task for you. Do it. Okay. So what are the tools for the event log analysis? So itself event viewer, which is a built-in Windows tool for viewing the event log, is a very excellent piece of tool. So you can directly use the event viewer. Also PowerShell. PowerShell is an important part because it is useful for scripting and automating log collection and analysis. So we will be taking a lot of examples of this PowerShell also. And then we have log parsers. So what is a log parser? Log parser are generally used into the security operation center. Okay. So let us suppose you have 100 PCs into your organization, and you have installed and deployed a security operation center. Now think of a scenario that you have installed the agents into the system. In all the 100 of the systems, your agents are being deployed, and these agents are pushing the important logs to your log collector, which may be onto their local system or which may be onto your cloud-based base or some on-prem server. So it's all depend on the architecture that they have adopted. Okay, so log parsers are a very important tool, and although there is security operations center is not the part of this course, but we will try to do a practical of this log parser someday. Okay, then SIEM is a very important part, security information event management. So there are a lot of tools like Splunk, SolarWinds, Greylog for advanced log analysis and correlation. And these log parsers are correlated with this SIEM only, because these parsers are pushing the logs from the endpoint to the SIEM for the analysis, and the SIEM is correlating the entire network with that particular log. So if let us suppose there is a log that a new user was created with event ID 4720. And let us suppose the time is 10 a.m. And after 5 minutes, there is a sudden network traffic into the organization firewall. So you can correlate that after creating this particular user, there is an issue into the network. So you can focus on that particular system, and you can do the basic analysis of that particular user. So this is very important. SIEM is a very important part. ELK stack, that is Elastic Stack, Logstack, and Kibana. So these are the open source tools for searching, analyzing, and visualizing log data into the real time. Okay, so SIEM push that data into the ELK stack, and ELK stack is now working to visualize the entire data. So these are the event tools that are being used by the system. Okay, so this is the basic, I would say, introduction about the event viewer. Let us move a little bit ahead. If anything is, if anybody has any issue, we can write into the chat box, or we will continue. Okay, perfect. So what are the steps to analyze the event logs? So first of all, you have to open the event viewer, access it through the control panel, or by typing EVENTVWR in the run dialog. Then you have to select the log, that what type of log you are actually accessing. Okay, so if you want to access the logon events, so now you know that you have to go to the security log. Okay, and you want to know when your hardware got failed or any hardware related logs, you will go into the system log. Then if a particular application based log, then you will go to application event log. Okay, so these are the different logs. Then you can filter the event, use filter to narrow down the specific event IDs. So in this slide, I have shown you some of the important IDs. Okay, so when we will do some practicals, we will take care of this, and we will see that which IDs are recently used and all. So this is a very important slide, and I've also given you an assignment, so just work on it. Okay, so then we will filter the events, use filter to narrow down the specific event ID, time frames, or keywords. Okay, examine details. Look at the event detail, which include the source, event ID, and also there is a level of information level, that it is a information, it is a warning, it is an error. So we will see each and everything. So relax, don't get panic, because we will be discussing each and everything. Then correlate the events. So it's very important that as a forensic examiner, you should correlate the event, that cross-reference event across different logs to find patterns or related events. So if you have like Windows event log, try to correlate with the firewall logs, try to correlate with the SIEMs, your SOAR, or into the UBA. So try to correlate with the events. Okay, export the logs. You can finally export the logs for further analysis, because sometimes what is happening, that logs are not available onto your live system. So because as a forensic analysis, you are not provided with a live system. Okay, so maybe there is an FTK image, you need to extract that logs out of that particular image. And for the live system, you can also export the logs. And there are some advanced tools also, like SIEM tools, SIEM system tool, who can have a deeper analysis. Okay, so these are the important tools. What is the role in forensics? Now, this is very important part, since it is a forensic bootcamp. So we must understand that what is the role in the forensics. So Windows Event Log Analysis play a crucial role in digital forensics by providing detailed record of system, application, and security events. These logs are essential for understanding the sequence of actions taken on the system, identifying security incident, and gathering evidence for investigation. I think we have already discussed about all of the things, that why log event is an important part of the forensics. Okay, so there is a message that slides are not visible. If they are visible, just give me a thumbs up.
Yes, sir. Slides are visible.
Okay, okay. I've just seen your message. I no issues. Thank you. Okay, so what are the important parts? Evidence collection and preservation. Uh, for comprehensive record, you need logs. For timeline construction, you need logs. And for the chain of custody, you need logs. Okay, so comprehensive record, what exactly it means? Event log capture a wide range of activities, including user login, application launch, system errors, configuration changes. So this comprehensive record is invaluable for the forensic investigation. So each and every forensic investigator, when he is analyzing any of the Windows system, it is very much important that he should understand the minute things of the Windows event logs, because Windows event log is just a treasure to a forensic examiner to find out a lot of important things. Then timeline reconstruction, because if you are able to reconstruct the thing, if you are able to correlate with the other devices, like there is some log on router, there is some log on firewall. So if you are able to reconstruct the entire thing, then definitely it's a great valuable record, a valuable resource for you. Then the other part is chain of custody. So it's a new word for you maybe, so we will be talking a little bit about the chain of custody. So what is the meaning of chain of custody? Okay, so let me give you an example. What is a chain of custody? Okay, just a minute. Okay, okay. So let us suppose there is a person A. Okay, and he is analyzing this particular system. He is analyzing this particular system. Maybe there is this system is a victim of a cyber attack or some murder is there or any of the issue, but this particular system, this person is analyzing this system. Okay, so what he will do, he will firstly take the image of it. Okay, he will first take the image of it and he can write into some CD or he can write into some hard disk or any of the device. Okay, so let us suppose that these image is available in this particular hard disk or DVD. Now he will forward it to some another person. Okay, so maybe it's a police, maybe it's a CBI, maybe it's some private investigator. Okay, then the police, CBI, or some private investigator give it to some labs. Maybe it's a FSL lab or any of the forensic lab, and forensic lab will going to analyze it. Okay, so the important thing is for that the person who is actually going to analyze it is not going to go and particularly take the image. Okay, he is not going to take. The person who is taking the image is different, and the person who is analyzing the image is different. Okay, so now he finds some facts. Okay, he finds some facts. Now he will produce into the court of law. Okay, court of law. And now the judge who's sitting behind the bench will ask that ensure that the evidence is not tampered. Okay. I think in the initial classes we have talked on that the ensure that the evidence is not tampered. So what is the chain of custody means? So what is the meaning of this chain of custody? The chain of custody means that when this sample from A to B is transferred, it should be intact. From B to C, it should be intact. C to D, it should be intact. So until unless it is produced into the court of law, the the data should be intact. And the important part is that the integrity of data should be there. Okay, so this is very important part that integrity of data should be there. So when we are talking about the chain of custody, what it's saying, proper handling and preservation of event logs ensure the integrity and admissibility of event in legal proceeding. Okay, so this is the same example that I have shown you to make you people understand that what is into the legal proceeding. Okay, so is it clear to everyone? Okay, now We have talked about chain of custody. So now let us talk about a very important area, that is incident detection and response. Okay, so by event log, you can analyze the breaches. You can create a system for alerting and monitoring. So you can create a system that whenever there is a failed log attempt, failed login attempt, your system will beep. Okay, so you can write a script using the PowerShell for failed login attempt for your system will be beep. So this is your second assignment. Okay, so you need to write a PowerShell script. So by doing this, you can continuous monitoring and automated alert based on long event that provide real-time detection of malicious activities. Then the root cause analysis. This is very important. Logs help identify the root cause of an incident, whether it's a malware injection, a configuration change, or a user action. So this is very important that sometimes we think that it is a malware infection, but actually it is a configuration change. Let us suppose from service pack 1 to we are moving to service pack 3 and there is a technical glitch. So your let us suppose your network stop working. So you think that it is malware infection or there is something, but if you are able to see this system logs, system events, you can see that due to this particular change, okay, this particular change, this issue is being developed. Okay, so you can do the root cause analysis. Then the second important part is user activity tracking. You can actively monitor the account logs and logouts. Okay, so account login and logouts you can manage, user actions you can manage, privilege use you can manage, because most of the time when there are escalation of privileges, the issue will start rising. Okay, but if you monitor the logs properly and you create and put a specific script for this particular use into your PowerShell, then definitely you can reduce these type of activities. Okay. Malware and threat analysis, we have talked about malware behavior. Sometime by analyzing event log, investigator can understand the behavior of a malware, including how it was executed. So it is part of the static analysis. So whenever a person is doing static malware analysis, so this is a very important part. Then we have indicator of compromise. So what is IOC? Log often contain IOC such as unusual network connection, unexpected service change, and other signs of compromise. So I think we have already discussed about the IOCs. So IOCs can be your IP, IOCs can be your domain, IOCs can be some file hash or some log. So each are the part of the IOCs, and this can help very much. And last but not the least, containment and eradication. So this will help us. Also, for compliance and rigor requirements, you should also do the log analysis and event log analysis. So regulatory compliance will be helped, audit trails, legal investigation. So these are the important points that you people get benefit if you understand the log analysis. Okay, network system monitoring. If your system performance is not as per your requirement or as per your expectation, so you can correlate your performance with the event log, your network activity, your configuration changes. So all of these things can be solved by putting your efforts into the event analysis. Okay, so let us suppose we will take example first, example scenario, investigating a security breach. Okay, so we will see the initial detection. So this is a case scenario. Okay, and this is a real world case scenario which has actually happened, and we have converted into an example. Okay, so what's the initial detection? Security alert indicate multiple failed login attempts followed by a successful login on a critical server. Okay, so what's saying? It is saying that there is a failed attempt, many failed attempts. But after a lot of failed attempt, there is a successful attempt. Okay, so the scenario is this, that after a lot of failed attempt, there is a successful attempt. Okay, For every failed attempt, the event ID is 4625, and for every successful event is 4624. Okay, so the system is having a lot of 4625 and one event ID is 4624. They identified the source IP and account used. So by log review, these are the things that they have identified. They identified the source IP from which it has logged on and logged it out. Then we have a cross referencing. They check the system log for event ID 7036 and 7045 to see if any services were started or new services installed around the time of login. So whenever a new service is stopped or started, these type of event IDs are being generated. So we can correlating and cross-referencing to the particular task. Then user activity analysis. The application log is examined to see if any unusual application were launched or if any critical file were accessed or modified. Okay. So user activities were examined. Then malware detection. Investigator look for a sign of malware such as event ID 4688 process creation. Okay. So 4688. Okay, so 4688 is a process creation. So whenever a process is created with a new PID, process ID, you can see that the malware is basically detected. So maybe there is a chance, but it is indicating unexpected or suspicious process. So you can go into the network statistics and your process explorer, and you can find out the particular malware detection. Then root cause analysis, impact. So all these scenario will help you in finding the particular event ID of the uh, event that has happened and can be correlated with the certain task. Okay. So how to use the event here? So you can press Windows button plus R onto your keyboard, and you can write this directly EVENT and then you can able to access the same. Okay. So let me start with this. Okay. So let us suppose open the event viewer. So you need to put EVENT and just press enter. Okay, so this is the Windows event viewer. And if you are able to see, there are a lot of log, custom views, Windows log, application service log, saved log, subscription log. And in Windows log, you can see these are the logs that we are talking about. Okay, so application log, security, setup, system, and forwarded events. So what is a forwarded event? That if you want to forward a particular event from this system to some other system, maybe it's a log collector, maybe it's a SIEM, or maybe it's some firewall device. So all of that, these configuration are putting into the uh, forward event. Okay. So let us see that how these logs are being collected. So these are the application event. Okay. So you can see that in my system, these are the application events that are happening. And you must see that each and every application event is related to a particular application. Okay. So these are Microsoft SQL, this is VSS, some operations are running. Then we have security log. Okay. So whenever there is a security log, uh, there is a particular log is created with this event IDs. Okay. So these are the event IDs. And for every successful login, for any failed login, there is a log created. Okay, we will see just after this. Then we have setup logs. If somebody is installing something or if somebody is updating something, it is creating such type of logs. One important part is that you can see the level. Okay, so you can see the level. This in this the level is information, but in this the level is something audit success. So these are the different type of levels that we are offering. Okay, so you can see that there is an error. Okay, so error is reflected with a red symbol. So these are the important part that you able to understand. Okay. Now, the important thing is that let us see and find some of the event logs. Okay, so how to find these event log is that first of all, you must understand that what event ID you are looking for. Okay, so if you are not able to find the event ID you are looking for, it's very hard. So what you can do, there is an entire filter option here. Okay, So there is an entire filter option there, and you can use filter current logs. Okay, so I'm using filter current log. In this filter current log, it is asking me to put down an event. Okay, so what are the options? You can find the critical events, you can find the warnings, you can find the verbose. Okay, so let us find the critical event. So I'm just clicking on the critical event and let us see. So there is no critical event is being logged into my system into the security. Okay, so because there is no critical event, that's why it is not into the security. So let us see. We must find out the successful logins into my system. Okay, so what is the event ID? The event ID is 4624. Okay, so an account successful login is basically 4624. So let us find and the successful logins. Okay, so you can see when I am searching for 4624, these are the entire details of my system whenever I have logged on. Okay, so today is 27th of May. Okay, and it is showing a login. Okay, so you can see that there are a lot of all login success. Okay, so you will see that why it is showing so much of entries. Okay, why it is showing so much of entries like 928, 923, 21, 17, because I am using multi-factor authentication from my fingerprint. So whenever I am using the multi-factor authentication for my fingerprint, it is creating an audit success log because I have configured the system like that. Okay. So you can see there are a lot of logs, and for this particular log, if you want to study more, so just click any of the log and it will tell you that for which computer it exactly the system log was generated. And if you go to this details, the detail is capturing the entire data. Okay. So what is your target username? What is your target login ID, login ID 5, login ID, login type 5. Okay, so it's very important that if you are connecting through RDP, the login type is something different. If you are logging first time, the login type is 2. So you can correlate and find out that which login type is basically there. Okay, so there is a lot of information which is available, and it is also saying the process name. So basically services.exe is responsible for your logging into the system. Okay. So you can see and check a lot of issues. And if you want to export, you can also export into the XML. Why XML view? Because when you are going to parse into these logs into the particular SIEM or some other devices, your XML must be used. Okay, so let us find a particular log when my account has failed to log in. Okay, so what is the ID for that? That is 4625. Okay, so let us suppose search for that. Okay, so you can see there are very limited attempts. Okay, one is in the morning, that is 10:09, and one is on 26, 24, 23, 23. Okay, so you can see there are only 3 to 4 login attempts that are available. Okay, so you can analyze it and you will find that what are the important things. Like, see, in this, the login attempt is 2. Okay, so I've created a new user for this. So this particular login attempt is being created. Okay, so these are the important parts, and these are the things that you can see. Now, the second important part is that you can use the PowerShell also for seeing the event and all. Okay. So what is the command for that? So I have written down some of the commands that can be used for the listing of the event log. Okay. So if you want to know that how many logs are there into your system. Okay. So how many logs are there into the system? So there is a command get dash event log hyphen list. Okay. So go to the PowerShell and always try to run as an administrator or PowerShell to get the best outputs. Okay. So what is the command? Get dash event log hyphen list. Okay. So what this command is telling you? it's telling you that in the application log, there are total 15,423 entries. Okay. And for the security log, there are 29,134 entries. Like I have forwarded some of my logs, okay, like Cisco Secure Client. So there are 1,474 entries. For Windows PowerShell, there are certain entries. For system logs, there are 38,000 entries. So you can see that there are a lot of entries into my system. Okay. So this is a good command through which you can find the important parts. Okay. So this is also an important command that you can use. Copy this. Okay, so what this command is, it is showing you the latest 10 logs. Okay, it is showing you the latest 10 logs. And you can even write 100 also, so it will give you 100 logs. But for a better understanding, we are just using the 10 logs. Okay, so what it is saying, it is giving me the time that when the log is being created, from what source it is created, and what is the instance ID, and what is the issue that is being logged. Okay, so you can see a lot of logs are created, and the system is giving me the information. Like it is saying that somebody is trying to add this URL to URL group. Okay, so you can see that these logs can be correlated to the entire your network, your file system to get the real status. Okay. So you can see there are a lot of logs, like 566 log is created, 507 log is created. So basically, I am using the 100 logs to see. Okay. So this is a very important part that you can also use if you want to read the logs. Then if you want to export the logs. Okay. So if you want to export the logs, so this is the command. Okay. So why it is giving error? Because I have not configured the path. Let me configure the path to D drive. So now what it will do, it will get the event log, and the system logs are being exported in a CSV format to this particular location. Okay. So in D export.csv is a file which is having my entire log. So let us go to the D drive, and there is a file export.csv, and you can see the entire logs are available there. Okay. So these are the event IDs. Okay, so in Excel, you can correlate the things very much better. Okay, and these are very much important parts. So whenever you are analyzing a system, and whenever you are taking the backup of the event log, so this can be very much useful. Otherwise, if you copy the .event file, .event files, so maybe you are not able to get a lot of information. Although all of the information are in that event file also, but this Excel can help you a lot to find out lot of artifacts. Okay. So what is the type? Like it's a information, it's a warning. So if you want to just find out about the warning data, so just click on the warning, and all the warning related issues are there. Okay. Okay. It is also telling you that what is the issue, that why this log is being created. Okay. Also, it will tell you about the source, that who has created this law. Okay. And what is the instance ID, time generated, return time, and who has created the law, like local service, anti user data. So these are the important parts that you can correlate. Okay. So we have talked about exporting the event log. Apart from this, there are other functionalities also, that you can create a PowerShell script also. And using that PowerShell scripts, you can also correlate your logs. You can make your own script. So one of the tasks I've already given to you. So you have to create a PowerShell script that whenever there is a failed login attempt, some message will be displayed onto your PowerShell. Okay, so and one more task that I have given before. So these are the two tasks. Okay, so the other task is you have to find the event ID, which is created when a new user logged in into the system. Okay, so these are the two tasks. So I think so. This is a good session for you people, and you have learned a lot.